50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh, my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Today is Monday, May 5th, 2025, episode 522. Kid, and we had a great weekend of sports. How was your weekend?
It was amazing, Dill. You know, the weather was nice. Cinco de Mayo a little early, so shout out to Cinco.
Yeah.
All the people out there celebrating Cinco de Mayo. We here, we live. We just not too lit, you know, but we had a good time, Dill. Got a major part done on the car, Dill. Swap is in.
Shout out Freddie Built.
The swap is in. So
Okay.
we just got to do the fuel system, wire it up, you know, and then like I said, my goal is July 4th. Fireworks won't be the only thing popping.
Now, I think the bigger question is, did you watch the Derby? Because rumor has it that you didn't.
I didn't. You know what it was? To be honest, people, I was busy. It was a busy day. It is what it is. But like I said, Dill, I was busy. I missed one hell of a race. I'll say that, and I regret it.
You're not the only one that missed it on the pod. We have Scott Reichel from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on a little later on. Badger. He also missed it. Everyone's out here missing it.
It was game sevens going on. Yeah. It was busy day. You know, there's a lot going on.
But if you missed it, go back, watch it. It's a hell of a race. Sovereignty. Shout out Mal, legend, came on, gave out Sovereignty 6-1. We cashed our tickets there. So if you listen, Mal's a legend, and he came on and gave us a winner. So it was starting the weekend off strong there. Outside of that, though, kid, we had a few game sevens here in the NBA. The weekend we even had some the second round start, but most of our NBA talk will be on the interview long EP. This one's going to be because we had a big episode and big interview with Scott. We go through all the recap of the first round. We preview the second round as well. So most of our NBA talk will be there. But kid, I do want to start this episode. We kind of had breaking news come on literally minutes before the episode. Ravens are releasing Justin Tucker and quote, "It's a football decisions. He's been accused of inappropriate behavior by 16 massage therapists from 8 different Baltimore spas and wellness centers. All of alleged have been incidents that have occurred from 2012 to 2016, covering Tucker's first 5 seasons in the NFL. Now he's come out in public, disputed the allegations, included a statement back a few months ago on social media back in January, calling the accusations, quote, unequivocally false. The NFL has been investigating the matter as well. But kid, I'll start by saying this. If they released a Hall of Famer in Justin Tucker, maybe he's not a Hall of Famer anymore, but it had to have been serious, and the NFL might have found something.
I'm not going to say might. They did. For
did.
The Ravens, I understand Justin
Class
Tucker.
organization.
Yeah, class organization, by the way. For them to just release a top 5 kicker still, in my opinion, a lot of people want to still, say he's the best. I'm not going to go there that far. I'm going to say top 5. For them just to release him during these allegations is something concrete. There's something serious. Clearly, there's 16 allegations. And the one common thing going on is Justin Tucker. Clearly, there's something going on. So, first thing first, it's a shame. Hopefully, those 16 people are lying. I think it's, as of right now, after being released by the Ravens, it's going to be hard to believe that. But I hope everything works out. I think the Ravens will be just fine because
they drafted a kicker too.
Yeah, we've seen a decline. Like I said, Justin Tucker's still great, but he's not what he was. Let's just say 4 or 5 seasons ago. So it is what it is. It sucks, but I just hope the Tucker family moving forward is fine and innocent to proven guilty, but it's not a good look.
No, definitely not a good look. Eric Acosta or DaCosta, the vice president and general manager of the Ravens, said, quote, "Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this one is one of those instances. Considering our current rosters, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. Justin created many significant and unforgettable moments in Ravens history. His reliability, focus, drive, resilience, and extraordinary talent made him one of the league's best kickers for over a decade. We are grateful for Justin's many contributions while playing for the Ravens. We sincerely wish him and his family the very best in his next life." I mean, he had an all-time career with Baltimore, 8-time Pro Bowler, 7-time 8-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler. He was 2010 All-Decade Team. He made the longest field goal in NFL history, 66 yards. He went 417 for 468 on field goals. That's the highest career field goal percentage in NFL history, 89.1%. I mean, it's just unfortunate because of the talent that's there, right?
Was.
Oh, not there anymore.
You think a team out there is going to sign him?
They didn't sign Ray Rice.
In the near future.
They gave Deshaun Watson a full guaranteed contract.
All right, so I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to you got to be real. You hit me with a fact.
Yeah.
Fully guaranteed at that. A lot of
that's crazy.
Yeah, so we can't
shout out the Browns, yo.
No, shout out Deshaun Watson's agent.
Yeah.
It's tough, but
the fully contract is insane. Yo, he'll get a contract.
Yeah, but we can't deny, Justin Tucker. Let's just put this aside. On the field, he was considered arguably the greatest kicker of all time.
That's a fact.
Honest, like I said, slight decline past year or two. Still top 5. Before that, like you said, highest percentage. I think, I know he had a dip this past season, but prior to this season, still, I think pretty sure he has the highest percentage for 50-plus field goal attempts and made. So Justin Tucker, without these allegations, would have possibly went down as the greatest kicker of all time. Now, possibly out the window, and that's a damn shame because on the field he is he probably might be the greatest kicker of all time. So, and I'm glad we witnessed it. But if these things are true, it's gonna take him out the realm, and it's a shame because he deserved to be on that pedestal.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. We'll see how the dust settles, but Ravens do release Justin Tucker. Kid, won't talk any basketball because we talked most about it in our interview with Scott. But NHL playoffs were really good. We had Game 7 last night, double overtime. The Winnipeg Jets take care of. I mean, it was a close one. I feel bad for the Blues because they had it, and the Jets, they score a goal with 2 seconds left in regulation to force overtime. Nothing happens in the first OT. Second OT, deflection just bounces Winnipeg's way, and they barely get out of the first round against a tough Blues team. Shout out the Blues. They made it very tough. Golden Knights, they advanced 4-2 against the Wild. Fortunate Wild had them on the ropes as well. Stars, they win a Game 7. And that Stars and Avalanche series, that felt like a Western Conference final, and it was only the first series, but they advance. They win a Game 7 as well. Maple Leafs, they take care of the Senators in 6 against Ottawa. They'll be playing the Panthers. We'll have picks on that a little on later in the show. So we're down to 8 teams as well. The thing I think, and I was telling you this over the weekend, we've had 2 Game 7s in the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs. I think the reason why the NHL has been more exciting personally for me is they've been overtime. They've been close games. They've been 2 blowouts we saw Golden State. Maybe it wasn't a blowout, but it was really never in reach for the Rockets. And then the fucking Nuggets blew out the Clippers. They really never stood a chance. So I think that's why it's been a little more entertaining on the ice than on the hardwood.
Yeah, I think most people, especially, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't call myself a casual hockey viewer, but, come playoff time, if it's on, nothing else is on, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I think people who should feel like me, they can't deny that hockey is at least more exciting than, like, the first period of a hockey game is much more exciting than the first quarter of an NBA game. Like, there's no denying that. And I'm no advocate for hockey here, people. It's just a more exciting sport. The pace, the hits, all those things, and it's for 3 periods straight. It's straight nonstop action.
Yeah.
So there's no denying that hockey, especially come in the playoff atmosphere, is more exciting. But I'm more of a basketball fan. Fourth quarter, 2-minute stretch. The game is tied. To me, that's amazing. But we can't deny that hockey has honestly been more exciting lately.
By the way, I forgot to mention this real quick before we get to our picks. Shout out Greg Popovich, one of the best of all time. He's unfortunately no longer the head coach of San Antonio. He's stepping down. He's transitioning. Hefe. Yo, the shirt was hard. Yeah. The shirt was hard. And did you see the video? It always seems to me that Tim Duncan is probably the best power forward to ever play the game. And he looks like a stoner. He looks like he just doesn't play. He's never played basketball.
It looked like he's going surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But he is transitioning.
Was Timmy a national swimmer in high school? Right?
I have no idea.
Possibly.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it might have been Timmy. I'm not sure. I know one NBA great was like a crazy swimmer in high school.
But shout out Greg, all-time winningest coach. He led the Spurs to 5 championships. He's going to be the team president now. They are transitioning. They are hiring their assistant Mitch Johnson as the next head coach for the Spurs. He's been assistant for a decade, so he took over as the interim, and he earned the job. I would say. The Spurs are a very young team. They're good. He's learned under Popovich for over a decade, and I like the move. Thoughts on, I guess, thoughts on Greg Popovich and I guess the transition to president now.
Yeah. From the scare earlier this season to see him, being the same old Pop, to me that was a good sign. To me, to see him the way he always been, that was great. So the fact that he's moving upstairs, it's just been a long time coming. We all he was shooting for the record, and we all know he would have got it, especially after Wemby got there. But hopefully he's in that front office for a decade more to come. So I hope Pop, enjoys his seat. Still, I know he's gonna have the urge to come down and possibly coach a little bit, but he's just gonna have to relax in the box, and I hope he enjoys his next step of his Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, just a little more accolades. He's the winningest coach, like I said, 5 NBA titles, 18 straight 50-win seasons. He's a 3-time NBA Coach of the Year and 170 playoff wins. He's a fucking legend. Shout out Greg Popovich, man. Yeah. Absolute legend.
And all right. By the way, Tim Duncan
is he?
Yeah, Wake Forest.
He's a legend.
Yeah, I'm pretty Olympic size pool swimmer. He was not.
Wow. Do you know what he was, like freestyle, backstroke? Do you know what he was or no?
I didn't really look that into it, but he was.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he had multiple accolades for NCAA Player of the Year in 1997.
So he was a swimmer and a basketball player at Wake Forest. That's fire. Yeah. Shout out Tim Duncan. All right, kid, before we get to our interview with Scott Reichel of the Sports Gambling Podcast, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry watching the NBA playoffs, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with the Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink, I believe, here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. And now, here is our interview with Scott Reichel. All right, great interview, very great interview with Scotty. Man, we talked about everything. We talked about the first round, what he likes, and I did not expect him to take your side on the Pat Riley. I mean, I dating back to, I think when you said it last week, I was like, I think that's low key a hot take. And he even said himself, when he said, I was like, oh, you two are going to be friends. I knew it already. Thoughts on the interview real quick, though.
To me, it was a stellar interview. Very NBA knowledgeable. Like,
yeah, very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Like a lot, a lot of people, claim to know this. He knew his shit. So I got to give credit to him. And thanks for him for coming on. Shout out Scotty, man. Truly a savant of the sport.
Absolutely. All right, kid. Let's get to these plays. Like I said, short slate here on a Monday for the NBA. I think we have 2 games. And then we also have series prices as well. So I guess maybe that's where we want to start before we get into the plays before the next game. Any series prices or anything like that? Because the more we were talking to Scott, and the more I was listening to you guys, because you guys are actually the NBA guys. I casually watch it. I watch my Knicks, but outside of that, I guess I would consider myself a casual. I like college a little more. I like Minnesota here, man. I don't know if in 4 or 5, but I saw the prop. I was looking it up while you guys were talking. Minnesota to take game 1 and the series is at plus 115. I like that. Boston in 5 is at plus 210. I'll give
as a Knicks fan.
As a Knicks fan, I want to give a 6, but I don't know. I think OKC. I when I was asking the question, I was like putting the bet in, which is why I think you'll hear in the interview my hesitation, like they're toast. OKC in 5 is at plus 210 as well. I know Scott was a little more high because Jokic could go crazy and give him 1, so maybe OKC in 6. But OKC in 5, I want to take at plus 210. I almost did the over 5.5 games with Minnesota, but I just couldn't get there. And Indiana, they won game 1. We talked about it on the interview, but I still think Cleveland, they got punched in the mouth, but I do think they'll come back and win the series. They're 9-point favorites here on the road, at home in game 2 tomorrow. And I think Darius Garland being out really hurts this team. So those are kind of my series plays real quick before we get into the individual games. Do you have any series plays that you like?
Yeah, let's start with your Knicks and Celtics still.
Give us a game.
You can't deny. Like, I think Scott was spot on. Thibodeau and everything he was saying. Besides Jalen Brunson, who could you honestly rely on to give you that extra those points when needed, especially if Brunson is having an offline or he's being guarded, by 2, 3. Like he said, it's going to be hard. Celtics are going to switch everything. They're going to throw Brunson 4 defenders at a time, possibly. Though, who's going to be that key guy? It's going to be Bridges. It's going to be OG. It's going to be Cat, who's going to consistently, not just one game show up, consistently show up. I love this bet a lot, though. It pays me to say this. I think series total games, 5 games at plus 198. I'm giving you a game. I said the Magic won a home game. Y'all should win a home game, though. But this is a bad matchup for you guys at the end of the day. It's a bad matchup. Celtics is just a deep team. So for the series, I'm going to say that's my favorite bet. That's my best bet. Series total games, 5 games, plus 198. Cleveland and the Pacers. Right now, Pacers are 1-0. Give them credit. Give them a lot of credit. The biggest X factor / question mark is, when is Darius Garland coming back? Is he coming back game 2? Who knows? If he's out, let's just say if he returns game 4, game 5, I think the Pacers are live here. The fact that the Pacers are still plus money to win the series, I'm gonna agree with one thing Scott said though. I think this series could possibly go 7, especially if Darius Garland is not there. Like I said, games 4, game 5, to go 7 games at plus 172. I like that. And Cleveland, as of right now, people, if you're really high and confident on them, to win the series minus 1.5 at plus 134, I like that too. I think Cleveland can still somehow win this series if Darius Garland is back for 2. Because we know when he's there healthy, Cavs, you can't deny it. What they win, 63, 64 games. They're just a great dominant team. And when they're fully healthy, I think Pacers will struggle with them. Now, Dill, I might be with you. 5 game series totals. 5 games plus 270. I might have to sprinkle on that. Even 6 games plus 205. I love that, Dill. Highly doubt it goes. I highly doubt they get swept. I highly doubt it goes 7. I think at 5 games or 6 games at plus 270, 205, those are great bets. Not for nothing. I know it's a little chalky, but Minnesota to win this series minus 178, it might be something to look at, people. We just saw the Warriors. I'm not going to say have a hard time, but it's no reason why that series should have won 7 games. We understand, Houston, great regular season team, was the number 2 seed, but we know Golden State potential. Veteran, great head coach, and they somehow almost blew a 3-1 lead. And it was just a poor game. Game 7 on both sides from them. I expect Minnesota to win this series. Like I said, 5, minimum 6 games. And I think even to win this series at minus 178, I know it's a little chalky, people, but I'll probably hit something on that. And then for the Denver and OKC series, though, this one is tough. I say Denver wins the game. So I'm going to go series total games, 5 games plus 198. I like that. I will say, Thunder win game 1, win the series, but that's minus 340 deal. So I'm going to go best bet, 5 games plus 198.
I like that. I think they can sneak one out. All right, kid, take a sip of water, clear the throat a little bit. Let's go to game 1 tonight at the second Garden, the TD Garden, not the regular Garden. Come on now. New York Knicks going on the road, taking on the Boston Celtics. Celtics laying 9, 425 on the money line, plus 334 for the Knicks. Total 212.5. I see 213s out there, so shop around. I'll start it off, kid. Excuse me. Now something's in my throat now. I'm gonna take the over here. 212.5. The number keeps coming down. It opened up at 217. It got down to 212. I see 213. I think it's moved a little too much. So I'm gonna ignore the sharp side, and because the sharps are on the under. I'm gonna go over. In 4 meetings between these teams in the regular season, the over has hit 3 times, and those games totals were at least 221.5. Also, the one under had a total of 232, and the teams combined for 223. So the game would have went over this number. So I just don't see much that really suggests that the Knicks are going to start playing low-scoring games against elite offenses. The Knicks defense is not that good. They're around middle of the pack. And I'd be surprised if we don't see the Celtics really come out and kind of launch some threes. They really did that against the Magic. And I think Joe Mazzulla spent most of the week trying to figure out how to get his offense back on track. So, if Boston is jacking away threes, New York will have no choice but to try to keep up the pace. Like I said, the over is 4-2 in game 1s the Knicks have played with Tom Thibodeau. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to zig when other people are zagging. Give me the over in this game.
I like the way you're heading. I know we was just talking a little rough about your Knicks in the interview. Shout out Scott once again. But I'm a little high on your Knicks for game 1. For game 1, I do think 9 points is a little too much. Like you said, Boston's dealing with, Jalen Brown's not 100%. We'll see if the risk lingers any bit after those 30-point performance. I'm not sure about that, but I think we're going to see, a team that's just played a couple of days ago sneak up on a very good Boston team. Though I think the Knicks might be like the Pacers. They might be live in this game. Give me the +9. I think they can make it close. I think y'all could definitely win the first quarter, make things interesting. But in the second half, we know this Boston team is just too good. They're too deep, and I think they'll get you. But give me the +9 with the Knicks for game one, man. I think 9 points is too much. It should have been like at least 6.5, maybe 7. I think 9 points is a slight disrespectful. Give the Knicks at least a chance.
All right, let's go to this night game. OKC, like I said, they're laying 10.5 here. I think they're gonna blow the Nuggets out. Plus 367 if you're feeling the Nuggets. Total is at 227.5. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with a player prop here because I really don't want to be laying 10.5, even though I do think it might be a blowout. But, Russell Westbrook was one of the big winners, I think, for game 7. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He also had 5 steals. I think he played a huge role knocking out his former team. And, after the game, Westbrook was talking some smack in the locker room, which not really surprising from him, but I think he had a nice series, and I just didn't think the Clippers had a Westbrook on their team. So I'm not sure Westbrook's really going to have the same impact on this series because OKC is just way better defensively, but I do think there's a chance we get a big game one or sometime in this series from Westbrook. So I'm going to go over his 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -110. Denver coming off a 7-game set with the Clippers, having very little time to prepare for this team. Just feels like this game is going to be played with a lot of guard energy and ability to create chaos. And what better player than Russell Westbrook? So for what it's worth, Westbrook did average 13.8 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game in 4 meetings with the Thunder, which is good for 27.4 combined points, rebounds, and assists. So we just need him to get 21 here tonight, which I do think he has some strengths in this series. So yeah, give me Westbrook over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
I like that though, just because we've seen his minutes get elevated. So I like that play a lot, though. Call me crazy. Give me the +9.5 with the Denver Nuggets still. Like I said, we just saw them come off a 7-game series. They're fresh. Well, I'm not gonna say they're fresh, but they're battle tested. They're ready to go. OKC, they had a week off. I wouldn't be surprised if the Denver Nuggets catch them lacking. I don't expect them to win here, but this is a former champion. You got Jokic. Scott even says the best player in the world still. Jamal Murray's been dicing them up, especially games 4, 5, and 6. I think if Jamal Murray and Jokic got that rhythm going with the pick and roll, the surrounding cast, Michael Porter shows up, gives you about 15. Aaron Gordon shows up, gives you around 15. I think the Nuggets can make game one interesting. Definitely much interesting than we saw in the Memphis series, and that's my biggest concern. We saw OKC just put on a show defensively, put a defensive clinic on Memphis. It's going to be interesting how they match up against Denver because if they have that championship pedigree, give me the +9.5 for game one with the Denver Nuggets. Still, let me end it off right here.
Yeah.
Two-way teaser, They'll call me crazy. I'm going to tease the Knicks. I'm going to tease the Denver Nuggets up. Give me the Nuggets to +15.5. Give me your Knicks to +15 as well, -134. You think both teams are going to lose by 15 plus? I think not.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that teaser as well. All right, kid. And then we do have 2 games on Tuesday as well. The other 2 series. We got Pacers. They're 9-point underdogs on the road for game 2. And then Golden State and Warriors, Golden State and the Timberwolves, game 1 in Minnesota. Timberwolves laying 7.5. Any plays here?
Yeah, I'm gonna start it off with player prop deal. I have one for Minnesota versus Golden State. Give me Nas Reed coming off the bench over 9.5 points at -130. I think it will be a tough matchup coming off the bench. It's gonna be interesting going to be guarding him if Draymond's on the bench with the second squad. And we've seen, especially in that Lakers series and last year, the whole season, Nasri can hurt you inside and especially outside. If he gets hot from the 3-point line, Dill, he's going to shoot way over this 9.5 points. So at minus 130, slight chalk there, but give me Nasri over 9.5 points. To be honest, Dill, I'm surprised Pacers are rich still catching 9 points. I might go right there. Cash game 1 plus 8.5 with the Pacers. I'm gonna play it safe, people. I do expect the Mavs to bounce back and win. I said Mavs, Cavs to bounce back and win. Another 2-way 6-point teaser. Minnesota down to 1. This play it safe. Indiana to plus 15. I love that teaser as well. Minus 134. And don't get me wrong, I do think Minnesota has a small chance to blow them out. At the end of the day, I'm gonna respect game 1 with Golden State. They know how the importance of game 1 is. I'm gonna just play it safe, tease them down to 1. Give me Minnesota down to 1, Indiana to plus 15, Nas Reed over 9.5 points.
All right, kid. Thank you. Good luck, and let's have a better second round. At least for me. First round was not happy.
No, first round was bad for me too. Not for
yeah.
now. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the ice. One game on the slate tonight. We do have the Florida Panthers taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Listen, man, I'm not high on Toronto at all. I'm going to take Florida. First of all, series, I'm going to take a minus 1.5 at plus 110. I like that as well. I like Sam Bennett. Shout out him. I think he could get 2 or more goals. You could get that at minus 135. You can get 3 or more goals in the series at plus 240 as well. And here for game 1, I'm going to take Florida to take game 1 as well. In regulation, no overtime. In regulation at plus 120. There's really, I think the biggest question for me to get behind the Toronto Maple Leafs is whether Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner can raise their level to the game against Florida, who they look so good right now. So one Maple Leaf that I have zero concerns about is Matthew Kynes, who he played alongside Matthews and Marner on the top line, as well as the number 1 power play. So I like Matthew Kynes anytime goal scorer. You could get that at plus 320. Sam Bennett, like I said, I think he could have a good series. He could get him anytime goal scorer at plus 300. And then Mitch Marner, I do think he'll be able to find the back of the net at plus 260. So 3 goal scorers, and I like Florida in regulation here tonight at plus 120. Kid, a few games here in the slate, only like 10 or 11 games here on the diamond. Do you like anything here for baseball real quick?
Yeah, I got 2 plays for today. Just not trying to go too crazy on board. One evenly matched game that I like. Houston Astros take on the Milwaukee Brewers. You got Block on the mound versus Myers. Like I said, 2 evenly matched matchups. I'm gonna take the home team here. Give me the Milwaukee Brewers. I think I caught a minus 118 on the money line. Shop around. Like I said, you might be able to get a better number than me. I think the Brew Crew are live at home. Give me the Brew Crew. Take care of business. Next game, your New York Mets taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Dale, your Mets, hot
Tough.
start.
Yeah,
Last
tough.
5, it's been tough. I think y'all can bounce back in the series, even though Arizona's been pretty good. Might be a tough road spot. I might be wrong here. But give me the Mets on the money line, minus 102. Y'all got to bounce back eventually. Why not here? Give me the Mets, minus 102 on the money line.
Yeah, I hope you are right, kid, because I took the Mets as well.
Who you trust more, Canning or Nelson? Be real.
Cannon.
Come on.
And he's been a decent surprise here for the Mets this year. So, yeah, I do like Griffin Canning. Give me the Mets here, plus 106. I like Seattle, minus 106 against. That's a good pitching matchup. Luis Severino going against Bryce Miller for the Seattle Mariners. Give me Mariners on the road, minus 106. I like dogs here today. Give me San Francisco. I know Landon Rupp, not the best guy, but on the road, plus 131. Give me the Giants. I think the value is with them. And then Cincinnati, plus 127 on the road. I think Brady Singer has been a much better pitcher than Smith Schuver. So I'm going to take the Reds here on the road, plus 127. So 3 dogs and a short little favorite here on the road. But that's going to do it, kid. Any last words before we get up out of here?
No, that's about it. We had a great interview. Real quick.
Yeah.
Bad UFL weekend.
Oh,
bad
terrible.
UFL. It was a bad UFL. People.
Shout out the Stallions.
Yeah, took care of business. Everybody else, what the bet? What the bet?
Yeah, no, it was bad.
Shout out Michigan though. They look good.
Oh, Michigan. That's the only one that covered for me. Michigan covered, and then Houston. The moment I laid points with them.
Yeah, the moment we I think that's the first time both of us took Houston in about 2 years, and we paid the price. Never again.
Paid the price.
Never
Well, that will never happen again. Week 7 this weekend. But thank you guys. Good luck on all your bets.